Hi guys, welcome to my channel, where we use gentle movement sessions to build strength, improve coordination, and increase mobility, so you move better and feel stronger. Today, I'm going to be taking you through a Feldenkrais lesson. So grab a mat, lie down on your back, and let's get started. Today we'll be doing a lesson called Differentiation of Pelvic Movements by means of an imaginary clock, commonly known as the pelvic clock. By imagining a clock dial painted on the back of our pelvis and moving our contact of our pelvis to different points on the clock, we can explore the different movements our pelvis can perform and how the movements of the pelvis can affect the musculature and movements of the rest of our body. Start by lying on your back, with your legs long and your arms beside you. And notice the way your legs are lying on the floor, how wide they are apart from one another, which way your feet are turning, and which way your knees are turning, how your pelvis is lying on the floor, which side the weight of your pelvis is on, and if your pelvis is lying level. Feel how your lower back is lying, your mid back and your upper back. Which parts are touching the floor and which parts are lifted or raised. Feel how your shoulders connect to the floor, whether they feel level, and how your arms, your elbows, your forearms, your hands, the back of your neck, and the back of your head are resting. And now bend both of your knees so your feet are flat in a comfortable position, and then press through your feet so your back flattens into the floor. And then reverse that so your tailbone rolls towards the floor, and as a result your back slightly arches. And then do that again. Gently press through the floor so your back flattens, and then reverse that so your back arches. Try to differentiate your breath from the movement so you neither hold your breath nor force breath out as you move. And as you do this, imagine there's a clock painted on the back of your pelvis. And as you press through the feet and flatten your back, you're rolling towards 12 o'clock. And as you roll your tailbone towards the floor and your back arches, you're rolling towards 6 o'clock. And as you keep rolling between 12 and 6 o'clock, feel how far through your body this movement travels. Can you imagine now that there's a clock behind your head that corresponds to the clock painted on the back of your pelvis, and as your pelvis presses towards 12 o'clock, your head tilts towards 12 o'clock, and as your pelvis rolls towards 6 o'clock, your head tilts towards 6 o'clock. Keep your breathing easy and relaxed, and keep this as small a movement as feels comfortable so you avoid overworking through the back muscles. Now stop in the center of the clock with your pelvis, and instead of moving between 6 and 12, now move between 3 and 9 o'clock on the pelvic clock. So rolling to the left side of your pelvis and then to the right. Keep your knees facing the ceiling as you do this, and notice whether you've decided to keep your head still or whether your head turns slightly with the turning of your pelvis, and whether there's any movement through the ribs through the mid-back, through the shoulders. Now stop in the center and again roll towards 12 o'clock and then towards 6 o'clock. And notice whether that's any easier than before or any clearer to imagine. Let your legs go long and rest, noticing if there are any changes in how you're lying compared to the beginning of the lesson. Then bend both of your knees again. And now instead of rolling to 12 and 6 o'clock, first roll to 12 o'clock, flattening through your back, and then roll to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock, so you end up on the right hip. Then roll to 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 12 o'clock, to rest again on the top of your pelvis. And then repeat that, rolling to 1, 2, 3, then 2, 1, and 12. And as you repeat this movement of doing a quarter of a circle with your pelvis, keep your knees facing the ceiling and notice which parts or which numbers are easier to trace with your pelvis than the others. And now the next time you roll from 12 to 1 to 2 to 3, continue along that path and roll to 4, 5, and 6 on the circle. So rolling to the tailbone, keeping your knees facing the ceiling. Then reverse that, rolling to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then continue, remembering to keep your breath easy, the movement small. The clock painted on the back of your pelvis need only be the size of a wristwatch. You're just rolling around your sacrum and around your pelvis, or in other words, around your hips. Now let your legs go long and rest. Notice the difference between the two sides of your pelvis now, between your right leg and your left leg, and your right side of your torso and the left side of your torso. Then bend both of your knees again, and again just roll 12 to 6. Notice whether that's any easier, and then 3 to 9. Then roll to 12 o'clock again, and this time we're moving towards the left, going to 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, then back to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. And then repeat. Remember that your knees face the ceiling and that there is a corresponding clock on the back of your head to the clock on the back of your pelvis. Keep your breathing easy and this movement of the pelvis light as you roll through the numbers to the left hip and then roll back to the top of your pelvis. The next time you roll from 12 to 11 to 10 to 9, continue that movement to 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, then 6 o'clock, and then reverse to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now you're doing a half circle with your pelvis. Keeping the movement easy, your knees are facing the ceiling still, and you're just rolling around the numbers you have painted on the back of your hips, and just trying to notice for yourself which parts feel easy in this circle and which numbers feel less clear or more difficult to touch onto the floor. The next time you come back up to 12 o'clock, let yourself rest in the center. And again, explore the 4 cardinal directions, rolling between 12 and 6, and then to 3 and to 9. Then again roll to 3 o'clock, stay on 3 o'clock, and from here roll to 2 o'clock, to 3 o'clock, to 4 o'clock, to 3 o'clock, to 4 o'clock, to 3 o'clock, and to 4 o'clock, just rolling over that small portion of your right hip. And now roll from 3 o'clock to 2 o'clock, to 1 o'clock, to 2 o'clock, to 3 o'clock, to 4 o'clock, to 5 o'clock, to 4 o'clock, to 3 o'clock, and continue to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5, to 4, to 3, to 2, to 1, and then the next time you pass through 3 o'clock, going towards 2, to 1, continue to 12, and then roll to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then reverse, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12, and just do that half circle one more time. And once you return to 3 o'clock for the last time, rest in the center, and then repeat on the other side, rolling to the left hip to 9 o'clock, then rolling to 10, to 9, to 8, to 9, to 10, to 9, to 8, to 9, to 10, then coming up through to 11, to 10, to 9, to 8, to 7, and do these 5 numbers a few times. And now complete the half circle by coming up through 9, 10, 11 to 12, then to 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then repeating 2 more times, remembering that there's a clock at the back of your head, and just noticing which parts of your body move to allow your pelvis to do this half circle movement over to the left hip and around the left hip, keeping your knees facing the ceiling. Now let that go and rest with your legs long. Just noticing any changes in how you're lying on the floor now, and any difference in how you're feeling your pelvis and your legs connected to your body. Bend your knees again, and this time we go all the way around the numbers of the clock, pressing up to 12 o'clock and then rolling round to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, through to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Keep that movement going, noticing how your body moves because of the movement of your pelvis. So what's happening through the ribs, through your upper back, your mid back, and your shoulders as your pelvis moves around the numbers of the clock, with a corresponding movement of your head around the numbers of the clock. Let that go, come up to 12, then roll to 11, the other way, then to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and keep going along that trajectory. Again, noticing which parts of the circle and also which parts of your body move when your pelvis moves into a specific position. Now let that go, let your legs long, and rest. Noticing whether anything's changed now through your ribs, your shoulders, or your arms, or even your neck. Now bend only the left knee, placing your foot in standing, keeping your right leg long. Roll up to 12 o'clock and then roll around the clock in a circular motion towards 3, rolling down to 6, rolling up to 9, through to 12, touching each individual number. And notice that with only one knee bent, your stomach has to do something different to maneuver your pelvis up to 12, over to 1, to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5. Your right leg needs to do something different, and so does the left side of your stomach and your left leg to continue along the left side of the clock as you move. Switch legs now and repeat anti-clockwise, using your right leg to push, your stomach to maneuver your pelvis, and the turning of your left foot and knee on the floor to achieve this circular motion of your pelvis. Feel that your shoulders have to move, your ribs have to move, so your whole torso is involved in the movement of your pelvis with only one leg bent. So now it's not only the pelvic muscles that are moving your pelvis to the various positions on the clock, but your ribs, your mid-back, your upper back, and your shoulders. Let that go and rest. And now with your legs long, tilt north and south. And notice that to do that, your heels need to flex and point, your stomach draws in and lets go, and your ribs move down and up as your shoulders move forwards and back. And then rest. And now we're going to do a circle of your pelvis with your legs long. Rolling north, allowing your feet to flex and your ribs to draw down, your chin to tilt up. You then start moving clockwise, around to the right, down to the tailbone, up through the left, to the top of the hips, feeling how much your ribs and stomach and shoulders need to help the pointing and flexing and turning of the feet to do these circular movements with your pelvis. Let that go, rest, and then repeat towards the left, going up to 12 o'clock, flexing your feet, drawing your ribs down, then going anti-clockwise. In this circular fashion, using your ribs, shoulders, tummy, your chin tilts up as your pelvis tilts up. Both your head and your pelvis roll clockwise as your feet do the same clockwise motion. Then let that go. Then notice any difference in how you're lying now. How connected your legs feel to your pelvis. How connected your pelvis feels to your ribs, your shoulders, your arms, your neck, and your head. And then bend your left knee and just a couple of times move between 12 and 6 o'clock, feeling how your right side of your tummy works with the left side of your leg. And then switch sides, moving between 12 and 6 o'clock with your right knee bent, feeling how your left side of your tummy works with your right leg. Then bend both knees, and again move through 12, then 6, feeling how the rest of your body moves with your pelvis. Then paying attention to how your pelvis interacts with your body, slowly roll to your side and sit up. Notice how you're sitting on your pelvis as you sit here, and then slowly come up to standing. Noticing how your whole body works together to bring you to standing after having done that lesson. Try to maintain that feeling of your pelvis working with your ribs, shoulders, legs, and arms to maneuver yourself, and notice how that can make your movements easier and stronger for the rest of the day. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had a great session. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.